Welcome to the CoreOne TVMDL portal. This video will go over the basic use of three portal functions: creating a submission, uploading spreadsheets for larger groups of animals, and viewing and paying your account charges. Before we get started, if you created an account in our previous portal, you will need to update your password before you will have the ability to log into our current portal. If you did not have an account with our previous portal, contact TVMDL's College Station Laboratory and someone will assist you with setting up an account with our new portal. Once logged in, you'll be taken to this dashboard. This dashboard gives you a bird's eye view of your current and past accessions. On here, you can view submissions you have created but have yet to submit and the current number of submissions that you have in progress. You can also view your current account balance and pay a specific amount. Lastly, you can also view recent submissions and their status within the laboratory. At the top of your screen, you'll notice four menu items. The first I'll go over is Submissions. In addition to creating new submissions on the screen, you can also view current and past submissions in more detail. Toward the top of the screen, you'll see three tabs. The In Progress tab shows all the submissions you have started but have yet to submit to TVMDL. Here you can view a submission's reference number, the date each submission was created, the receiving TVMDL location, and the status of each submission. At the end of each row, you have the option of viewing your submission, editing your submission, duplicating your submission, or deleting your submission. The Submitted tab shows all submissions you have completed and their accession number if they have been received by TVMDL. Accession numbers will always begin with a letter, whereas submission numbers will always be composed of numbers. On this page, you can also view the date each submission was created, the receiving TVMDL location, and each submission status within the lab. At the end of each row, you have the option of viewing the submission in more detail, editing any submissions that haven't been shipped yet, or duplicating a submission. The Lab Complete tab shows all submissions that TVMDL has finalized. Here, you can view each submission's accession number, the date each submission was created, and the TVMDL location that performed testing. At the end of each row, you have the option of viewing the submission in more detail or duplicating a submission. At the bottom of the page, you can click on one of the page buttons to view submissions further back in time. To create a new submission, click the New button. In this tutorial, I'll go over the basic submission process. We acknowledge that our clients encounter a variety of situations and that you may not always have a basic or typical submission. Because of this, we have added shortcuts for a variety of submission scenarios, such as adding the same specimen for part of a group of animals, or adding different tests for certain animals within a group. If you find yourself in a unique situation and have questions on how to properly create a submission in our portal, please call TVMDL and someone will walk you through the process. Throughout the submission process, you'll notice some fields have a red asterisk. This indicates a required field. You will not be able to complete a submission if any of these required fields are left blank. If you are unsure of what option to select, please handwrite information on the submission form after it's been printed. With all submissions, you'll need to start with a submission details block. When completing these fields, you have two options. The first option is to use the drop-down menu to select an item, while the second option is to type in your selection. Each field is auto-populated, therefore only current menu items can be selected. The first field indicates the TVMDL location you intend on submitting your sample to. In the next field, you can check boxes to indicate whether a gross necropsy is needed or if you're submitting an export case. The following field indicates if your current submission is in relation to a previous accession. The next field indicates the mail carrier transporting the sample. The owner's details field can be used to enter information about the animal's owner. Once entered, this information is saved and can be used again for future submissions. The remaining fields indicate the veterinarian submitting the sample and, for group testing, the number of animals. The buttons at the bottom of the screen will assist you with various types of submission scenarios. I will go over each one as we move through the submission process. To add an animal to your submission, click the Add Animal Group button. Select a form of identification. If you're submitting a sample from a non-agricultural animal, select the No ID option. Once a form of identification is entered, type in either an identifying name or number for the animal. Once this block is complete, click Next. When entering an animal species or breed, you again have two options for completing this field. You can either choose an option from our drop-down menu or type in part of an animal's taxonomy, such as a breed. This is often the quicker option. Next, select an animal's sex code and click Next. The following two blocks are optional. Although there are fields that are not mandatory for submission, the more information you can provide to TVMDL, the easier it will be for us to assist you. Once an animal is entered, you will then need to add the specimens you intend on submitting and the test you're requesting for that animal. First, select your specimen type. If necessary, add a description for your specimen. Next, select the transport medium, date of collection, and the condition in which you're submitting your specimen. Once a specimen has been added, select the test or tests you're requesting. You can select a test from our drop-down menu or type in the test name or test code. Again, if you are unsure of one of your selections, you can always handwrite information on your submission form once it's been printed. Once complete, click Save. After an animal has been entered and you have added your specimen and requested test, you have the option to include a necropsy report or duplicate an animal. In reviewing your selections, you also have the option of clicking the pencil icon to edit a selection or the red circle X to completely delete a selection. Up above, the Add Non-Animal Specimen button can be used if you're submitting a specimen not associated with a specific animal. The next three options are helpful if there are multiple animals associated with your submission. You have the option of adding the same specimen or test to all animals in a group. The last option is especially helpful if you are testing a large number of animals, such as an entire cattle herd. Here, you can access an Excel template you can use to enter all the animals in a large group. Enter all the animals on the first tab. Review the spreadsheet shortcodes on the second tab. And if you have any questions, refer to the instructions on the third tab. Save the spreadsheet and upload it to the portal. This is the quicker option for bulk testing as opposed to manually entering every animal. This feature will only work if the TVMDL spreadsheet template is used. This spreadsheet can also be accessed by selecting the Animal Upload tab at the top of your screen. Once you have entered all animals, specimens, and requested tests, save your submission. Here you can review your submission. If all information has been entered, click on the PDF icon next to your submission number. As a reminder, if there is any information you are unsure about, please handwrite information on your submission form. print your submission form and place it in your shipment. The final step in the submission process is clicking the Complete Submission button. This step is necessary in order for TVMDL to receive your submission. Once complete, your specimen is ready for shipment. The last topic in this tutorial is viewing and paying your current charges. To do this, click on the Charges tab in the top menu. This screen shows all your current unpaid charges. Here you can see a submission's invoice number, the submission's date, the date your invoice is due, any accredited amounts, the outstanding amount on an invoice, and the total charge. You also have the option to view a charge in detail, view the charge's invoice, or pay the charge. As a note, each of these invoices refers to a specific accession. TVMDL will generate a statement at the end of each month that will cover all your accessions from the past month. You will have the ability to pay for all accessions from that statement. This concludes the tutorial for TVMDL's CoreOne portal. For any questions about using the portal or creating a portal account, contact TVMDL.